Good afternoon and welcome to Total SANFL here on C31, bringing you all the action of round 20 of our SANFL, and what a huge round of games it was yesterday. We'll look in depth at all of those matches for you shortly, but without further ado, let me introduce the panel, and it's the old sparring partners back again by unpopular demand. To my right, firstly we have Robert Douglas, formerly of Coast FM. Robert, thanks for coming in.
Great to be on again, Chris. Unpopular demand, I heard the station had a lot of requests from the 18 to 35 female viewers.
So
you're back in, Chris.
Have your daughters been ringing in again, Rob?
That's right, they've been busy. Yes.
Ringing in too, I hope. And joining us also on the panel is his old sparring partner from Coast FM, Todd Wellington. Todd, you're back again, mate.
Oh, mate, thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a great week of footy and a lead into the finals. It's highly competitive.
Hasn't it been a massive weekend of football so far? Only 3 games played, and according to the statisticians, if in today's game 219 points are kicked, this will be the highest scoring round in SANFL history.
Highest scoring round in history, or since 1991 when we had the 19
Since 1991.
Yes, because there was a lot.
1991.
Yeah, just as well that some of us on the ball this morning.
So we'll just refilm that opening segment. No.
Todd, actually you've grown something there on the chin since you last on for C31. Todd, is there any reason for that?
No, just a change. Oh, look at that. Hey, look at that. No, look, just a change, fellas. Just to bring a different image to. We want to attract the 18 to 39. Was that the deal?
That's right.
I was going to say, back to the 70s was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, you didn't have me 3 weeks ago.
No, that's true.
We've got a follow-up segment on that later on the show, haven't we? Back to the 70s.
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact. Something there to tease the viewers with later on, and we're going to start showing some footage of Todd in his school days and Todd in his days on the Lenny's dance floor, no doubt about that at all. The big news, of course, of the week, fellas, was the Hall of Fame. We had 8 new inductees: Craig Bradley, Darren Jarman, Rick Kinnear, Bob Simonson, Neville Roberts, Sean Wren, John Lynch and John Forrester. Some really big names there, fellas. Now, one of you was talking off camera about this before. Should all of the guys been inducted, Todd?
Oh, gee, you go to me first. No, look, probably not. I think Sean Wren is very, very lucky, to be truthful.
Why is that?
Well, how many games he played? 21 games, 15 goals, a couple of hit-outs, I suppose, with that. No, look, you can understand Darren Jarman, to be truthful. I mean, he played over 100 games in North Adelaide, but Sean Wren, I don't think, contributed to the SANFL as much as some of those other people did.
I think it depends on what the policy is going to be of the SANFL Hall of Fame in future. Like, is it going to be looking at South Australian footballers who've done well in the AFL, or compared to players who were great names in the SANFL competition back through the 40s, 50s and 60s? But Sean Wren, he's a very good footballer.
Very
good
responsible
for 2 premierships for the Adelaide Crows. But SANFL level, a couple of years at West Adelaide and coached West Adelaide to a losing grand final in 2003. Is that enough for the SANFL Hall of Fame when you consider someone like, for example, Johnny Taylor, who's played over 240 games for West Adelaide Glenelg back in the 40s and 50s, still hasn't got a Guernsey, and he was one of the big names of South Australian football 50 years ago.
You could probably throw in a name like John Seabohm easily enough on that, and for the for the trivia-minded out there, the player who played the most games for a club without representing their state. But having said that, I don't see any problem with having Sean Wren in the Hall of Fame, really, to be honest. I think that his contribution towards South Australian football was huge.
Maybe not yet then.
No, not yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think I think a bit too young. I'd like to see a few more old guys get in.
Anyone in particular apart from John Taylor?
I think John Seabohn's a very good example as well, 300 games and deserves some sort of recognition.
John McFarlane?
John McFarlane would be a good one, yes, hitting the post in that famous 49-goal game. But poor guy, played 300 games, that's all he's remembered for. But no, look, congratulations to the other names, like Bob Simonson was an outstanding footballer for Woodville in the early years. Darren Jarman, we know enough about him. Craig Bradley was a great player for Port Adelaide Magpies before he went across to Carlton. So all the other gentlemen are very, very deserving. Sean Wren, I thought, great person, but probably just a bit too young at this stage.
Good to see Rick Kinnear getting a Guernsey too, and all jokes aside, I mean, he did make a massive contribution to umpiring. And of course, fellas, Bob Simonson has a very unique piece of trivia, which no doubt you'll both be familiar with.
Yes, he made the state squad before he had played a league game. He's
also the only person ever to captain a side in his first league game.
Captain a side in his first league game. What about Gary Window out at Centrals? Because Ken Eustace was, didn't actually, although he was captain coach at Centrals in '64, he missed the first 6 or 7 games that year due to clearance problems.
But he was still appointed the captain.
All right then.
So we have to look at the technical side of things for this one.
Our statisticians looked that up during the ad break.
And I have no doubt they will, and no doubt people will be emailing us. And don't forget to email us, 2 people, total SANFL SANFL31@hotmail.com. That's total SANFL31@hotmail.com. Send us 3 emails. We do get a number of them during the week, and thank you very much to those that take the time. I'll always make sure I respond to that as soon as possible. Let's have a look at the game at the Broad Spectrum Oval yesterday between Port and West, played in front of 1,826 fans. Port Adelaide 26 goals 18, 174, defeating West 17 goals 10, 112. For Port Adelaide, Jeremy Clayton had a day out with 6, Waterhouse and Jenner 4 goals apiece. For West Adelaide, Kerr kicked 3. The main possession getters for Port Adelaide, how's this? Jeremy Clayton 47 possessions, that's the second highest tally in the SANFL this year behind Sean O'Keefe. Baird had 31 touches there. For West Adelaide, Donaldson as the stand-in captain on the day, 32 touches, Ben Hollands 29. Fellas, Jeremy Clayton, 47 touches. He had 5 goals, I understand, by the 10-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, just to break down Jeremy Clayton's game a bit more, 28 kicks, 19 handballs, 9 marks, 6 frees, 6 goals and 5 tackles. He's obviously clearly the key to Port Adelaide's chances, but he's not normally been a big goal kicker in the past, and yet 6 goals yesterday means he just run amok, didn't he?
And look, 29 possessions and 5 goals to half-time. Yeah. He had the 3 McGarry medal votes there and then, so it's a pity he couldn't get more, because he really dominated and set it up really after quarter-time when sort of West fell away a bit.
Let's have a look at now some of the action from that game out at the Broad Spectrum Oval. Full credit to West Adelaide again. I mean, they had another losing game, no doubt, but still to kick 17 goals 10. One thing about West Adelaide, they are probably playing much better football than Sturt at the moment, really, in terms of their attacking.
Oh,
hang on, the segment's not on yet.
We can save
building up to that.
we can save Sturt for later. What I like about West Adelaide, the 17 goals came from 11 goal kickers yesterday, which means that they shared the ball around. There's good teamwork happening at the moment. So I think Wayne Weedham's on the right track with West Adelaide, and I was also very happy to see Ben Hollands yesterday. Best game for the season with 20 kicks, 9 hand passes and 12 marks, so it's good to see Ben Hollands finally coming through.
Look, also, as well as the goal kickers, have had 6 or 7, I think, in the mid-20 or so possessions as well. Van der Loos, Dragicevic, Slattery's, Paul Pleasure came back and had laid 7 tackles as well, so they've certainly got enough ball winners. I suppose they're just finishing is their issue.
And certainly the footage that we've just seen on screen then was quite a good piece of a team play running down the ground by West Adelaide, so I think Weedham's on the right track. The players are running well together. Weedham's very confident with the group that he's got. Remember, it's a young group. Luke Donaldson has played 80 games for West Adelaide. He was their most experienced player out there yesterday, and that's probably why he was acting captain, just on the sheer number of games, I suppose.
Some of the inexperienced down there, we look at the moment, Buckley, Kerr, Aaron Barnett played his first game yesterday. Christian Vanderloo's still got a fair bit of time on his side. Daniel Proud, Alex Hutchins. They've got a lot of kids down there, but they really have got a lot to work with, and I agree. I really think Wayne Weedham's on the right track, and you sense that with the appointment of Damien Phillips, fellas, there's a real new era dawning down at Broad Spectrum finally.
I think they chose a very good replacement there, because it's someone who's coming from outside. He'll know none of the factions or politics or the history of the club. He'll just come in and do his job and hopefully solve all the problems there.
Look, you're dead right. I think Wayne Weedham's done things his own way this year. They'll have a good, like an early finish like to other clubs, but they'll be able to go into next pre-season with a whole heap of, some experience under the belt for the younger fellas. So, look, certainly they will improve again next year, West Adelaide.
I think the thing about Wayne too is that he's a realist. He knows that he really doesn't have a very competitive team at sometimes this year, but he's realistic enough to know that he's getting a good look at a lot of the kids, because he knows that there's going to be a few senior players that won't be there next year. Now he's starting to find out who's there for the right reasons.
I'm also impressed that West Adelaide, they've got a cold hero on Jeremy Jakes, who has had his picture.
Whose cold hero is this? Yours or?
No, West Adelaide's. He's favourite the fans down at Richmond. But Jeremy Jakes, he had his photo in Friday's Advertiser in a black and white picture, and in today's Sunday Mail, there's a colour picture of Jeremy Jakes. So all of a sudden he's getting the photographer's eye. So well done, Jeremy. Your modelling career's come along very nicely.
So he's only going to be a few steps away from coming on here, no doubt. I mean, that's going to be our next West Adelaide guest, I'm sure.
Away, because Jeremy knows actually a very key defender for West Adelaide, and he's done most jobs that Weedham's asked him to do this year. So Jeremy's had a very good season. He's never
kicked the goal.
No, he's just learned how to bounce the ball now. He's one of those players that when he bounces the ball, he takes 3 paces while the ball's coming back to him. But he's a very good player, Jeremy, and he's a good bloke off the field as well.
Where do we see Port Adelaide now, fellas? I mean, that's a huge win. They needed that one yesterday. They lost perhaps an opportunity to get a bit more percentage than anything else, but good signs there from Clive Waterhouse, probably finally, to be really truthful.
Well, he's 4 goals now, 40 for the season, so he's going to finish the year with 50 goals, which is probably what you would have expected at the start of the year from someone like Waterhouse, because, Waterhouse does tend to miss a lot of games during the course of any season with injuries and things like that.
Yeah, look, Port, it's going to be an interesting one. The last 3 weeks is going to be very interesting. Look, they're hanging on. The percentage could play an important part, because South Adelaide got over 55%.
Yes.
The likes of Centrals and Port haven't got that high percentage. Look, they probably will just make it anyway, I reckon.
Well, Port's last game of the year was against North Adelaide. and that could be deciding either 5th spot or 3rd spot for Port Adelaide, depending on results between now and then. So
knowing how North play, that could well be a 50-goal game between both teams.
Right.
The one weakness I still see with Port Adelaide very much is if Mickeljohn falls down and Marich does happen to play with Adelaide Crows, the only mention of AFL today, then they're going to be very deficient in the ruck.
Yeah, look, you're right. I mean, marriage is important for Port Adelaide in the SANFL, there's no question. And he's actually improved. Look, when he plays, and he played 2 games last weekend, Marich was really, really good the day before, down the back. Vital for them. I mean, I still think if Waterhouse has an off day, I think they're in trouble. You can't rely on Clayton kicking 6, Jenner kicking 4, and Davis and these guys. So I think it's important that Waterhouse has an on day and they get somebody else that stands up forward.
But with the ruck question, that would also mean that would also limit the effectiveness of Jeremy Clayton as well, because obviously Clayton will play better if Porter got dominating ruckman.
Then again, Clayton played so much of the time up forward yesterday. That's another wild card now for Tim Geneva, knowing that he can say throw Clayton into the goal square, drag the tag back with him, because we know that Clayton's going to get tagged, so it also takes the opposition's best tagger back to the defensive side of things. I think he just found another rabbit in the hat yesterday.
Yes.
Can't dispute that, as long as they're getting enough ball from the other midfielders, because I know you've got to weigh up whether you're taking Clayton away from the ball, but when the ball's coming in like that, you're going to kick some goals.
Gives Jared Polton a perfect opportunity. I mean, Polton's been very good this season, really. But again, like you said, if Mickeljohn does go down, it puts a lot of pressure then on Corey Archie to perhaps step up and be that second ruckman, and probably Corey isn't quite up for that.
Just not big enough.
No, exactly. I think Archie is a perfect utility player for either end of the ground, but ruckworky, I think it's probably a bit beyond him. I'm very impressed with Jeremy Clayton. Is he the McGarry medalist? Is it too early to talk McGarry medalist, Jeremy Clayton?
I don't think it's too early, no, but he did have a noticeable flat spot in the middle of the season. Now, that's probably the first time he's polled votes since about early June yesterday.
Okay,
he did really fall down quite a way there.
Mr. K.
Okay, it was the first time he's polled votes in the C31 Player of the Year award we'll come back to, but I suspect the umpires would say the same thing, because we noted he had a number of games, say 23, 24 touches, where he was a fair way down in effectiveness because he was getting tagged so heavily.
Interesting with umpires yesterday, Port Adelaide 29 free kicks to West Adelaide 16. What could that be an indication of? That West Adelaide are perhaps playing a very physical brand of football?
You've been concentrating on the frees all morning down out the back. Oh, that team's had more than that team. What does that mean? What is going on with the free kicks?
It could simply mean, Robert, that Port Adelaide were first to the ball more often.
That's what I've been saying.
No. And people know that I am a person who bakes the umpires a fair bit, but that is not necessarily an indication.
We're not baking them today.
What I'm saying is that it's the old story that the teams lower down seem to give away a lot more frees because they're desperation and trying harder to get the ball, and they often infringe a lot more.
Maybe they need to. Maybe they're then a metre behind getting the ball than the opponent. If you get to the ball first, more than likely you'll be looked upon more favourably than not.
Okay then, sounds good.
Get to the ball first, Robbie.
Let's have a look at the C31 Player of the Year. At the toss of a coin, you pull it Player of the Year award before Rob and Todd have a stoush off here. In fact, we'll just let them sort that out now. 1 vote to Ben Hollands from West Adelaide there. An outstanding game for him yesterday. He is starting to run into a bit of form. He took a little time to hit his straps this year, but he is starting to get some touches now. 2 votes to John Baird from Port Adelaide. Another player who had a very quiet middle part of the season, but he has come along in these last few weeks. You can't go past Jeremy Clayton. 47 touches, 6 goals. That's one of the most dominant games you'll see in the SANFL this year, apart from Sean O'Keefe. So he gets 3 votes in the C31. At the toss of a coin, you pull it. $1,000 Player of the Year award, fellas.
Yes, well done to all involved, and Jeremy Clayton, I think, is running into form at the right time there for Port Adelaide. As I say, the last minor round game, they're up against North Adelaide in a spot that Port will be going for either qualifying final or elimination final, and I'm still not convinced that Port Adelaide are going to go far in the finals. I
tend to agree for what it's worth. I'm still not convinced they will actually make the finals. That's something we'll discuss after the break. And in fact, after the break, we're going to have a look at the huge game out at Glenelg Oval yesterday, Glenelg versus North Adelaide. You're on C31's Total SANFL this afternoon with Chris Kendall, Robert Douglas and Todd Wellington.
At the printing hub, our phones never stop ringing. Hello, the printing hub. How much for letterheads? Nah, we can do it less than that. Business cards, for what price? Nah, mate, using the wrong printer. Grocers, don't pay that much. Come and see us at the Printing Hub.
The Printing Hub, where you don't pay too much for your printing.
And we're hassle-free, big fella.
You want it, you pull it. You name it. With over 3,000 cars, you'll find it, you pull it, and you pay less at Lonsdale and Elizabeth. You better believe it. You want a door? You pull it and pay $49.50. You want mags? You pull it and pay $27.50 each. You take your own tools, you pull it, you carry it out, you save. You beauty. You pull it self-serve auto. You'll find them 7 days at Myer Road Lonsdale and Wammer Road Elizabeth. You pull it, you save, you betcha.
Just a smidge over 60.
Well, take a look at the back. Look how many deliveries I've got to do before 5 o'clock.
Well, it's not very busy. There's hardly any cars on the road.
I have to pick my little brother up, and I promised him that I wouldn't be late.
Speeding. What's your excuse?
A smile on a child's face goes a long way.
Volunteers with Interchange care for children with disabilities.
To me, it always has been about giving something back and helping somebody.
I always look forward to the weekend I have her. She's more of a mate than a child now.
They actually, genuinely believe that Kimberly and Nathan are their friends, not just somebody that comes to visit.
If you'd like to share your home and family, phone Interchange.
I think it's something that a lot more people should do.
Did you know that over 17% of South Australians have difficulty reading printed material? That's around 1 in 6 South Australians who find it hard or impossible to read daily newspapers, or a weekly magazine, or a best-selling novel. If you or someone you know has trouble reading printed material, there's a community radio station that's here to help. 1197 AM RPH Adelaide, South Australia's quality radio reading and information service.
And welcome back to Total SANFL on this magnificent Sunday afternoon at the Glenelg Oval yesterday. Possibly the qualifying final preview between North and Glenelg. It had absolutely everything. Probably the most entertaining SANFL game of the season just about, and the result did just go the Roosters' way on almost the last kick of the day. North Adelaide 21 goals 20 146, defeated Glenelg 22 goals 10 142. Goal kickers for North, Ian Perry kicked 6, Hargraves and Alloway 5 apiece. For Glenelg, Matt Doldick had a day out with 7, Brett Backwell with 3. He had 3 of his shots in the opening 7 minutes, if you don't mind. For North Adelaide, the leading possession getters, Heath Uni 28, Laddams 23. For Glenelg, Brett Backwell 44 touches and Mules 25. And of course, Ben Mules re-signed with the club earlier on during the week. That's huge news there for the Bays. Fellas, I was covering this game for C31 yesterday. This was just an absolutely magnificent encounter in every sense of the word.
It was a great game of football, Chris. You also covered the game for Sports Beat magazine, which if I can just hold that up for a cameraman there, your tip actually has I'm messing it up here, but you tipped Glenelg by 13-24 yesterday. You're an authority on South Australian football then?
Well, if we're going to talk about Sports Beat, I might remind you that last week I was probably one of the only tipsters to pick all 4, if you don't mind, including picking Port. So
change the subject.
So yes, we'll change the subject very subtly. I blame Glenelg's bad kicking for that one, but having said that, they did have their opportunities to put North away, and they just missed out there with just a couple of bad decisions, and we'll see one later on in the piece, late in the game, that cost it.
But no, people were on the money because the football budget yesterday actually had a big day at the Bay expected, so it was, we won't bag it all the time, Chris, but no, a crowd of only 3,076, I would have thought a crowd of about 5,000 would have been in order for such an important game like that.
I'd query that figure of 3,076. It means a lot of people must have jumped the fence because it was absolutely pumping over on the hill there with the Snouts, Louts and the Grog squad standing next to each other. It was a really noisy atmosphere, and I thought there was a lot more people than that, to be truthful.
Are they probably the two most vibrant cheer squads in the SANFL at the moment, the North and Glenelg cheer squads?
Would have to say so. I mean, they're probably a little bit more vibrant than the West Adelaide cheer squad, and I saw them a few weeks ago. The poor buggers have only got about 4 or 5 there waving the floggers there, but good on them. But let's get back to the game at hand here. So this was played at a frenetic pace right throughout. The game was in the balance really until those last few seconds, and it was until Justin McConnell's final error, which we're going to see there in a few minutes, that cost them the game. So many good players all around the ground there for the Bays. I mean, Backwell, we'll come to him in a minute there. Mules was excellent. They did get a bit of an advantage also in the ruck there, which was surprising. You'd ordinarily think with Hudson and O'Hara in the ruck that they would get the advantage. Now, they did lead out in the tap-outs there, but I really thought that Cranston did a fantastic job there with his 22 hit-outs. But they just had so many good winners all around the ground there, Glenelg, and particularly with Matt Doldig booting 7, they really did have their chances to pinch this one.
I think it was important that Glenelg won due to the fact that Bryce Gibbs was kept quiet. Richard Douglas, he's related to me when he plays well, Todd, in case you didn't know that. But he's a quality player and I've yet to see him play a bad game. Do you think his absence might have cost Glenelg the win in the end?
I think it probably threw them out a little bit because most people would have thought that if the Crows were going to claim someone, it would have been Ben Hunson, which would have handed an advantage straight back to Glenelg. Adelaide, sorry for this other mention of the AFL people, but they did claim Richard Douglas to be the travelling emergency to soak up the atmosphere at the MCG was the reason. Well, that's all very well and good, but he can probably just pop along there like everybody else on a day off.
And it cost him the atmosphere at Glenelg Oval in the meantime.
Yeah, look, you can't blame that though. I mean, look, 43 goals in the game, 73 scoring shots, fantastic high scoring, quick ball movement from forward to back.
This will sum up Mark Micken's feelings on Richard Douglas being missing, by the way, just in a second.
Oh,
yeah.
This was just a phenomenal game for the SANFL. What's happened to the Bay Oval though? It looks like the Telstra Dome there. No grass, or is it just dirt?
Very dry, I must admit there. And yes, there wasn't a big grass covering on it, and we see unfortunately a bad area here from Justin McConnell. That was the turning point there for North Adelaide. But yes, you're right. It was very light on with the grass. I'm a bit surprised about that. A number of people I was standing with commented very much on the same thing, that for a ground that is normally fairly lush, it seems to have taken a real beating over the last few weeks.
I noticed in that footage in Ian Perry take the match-winning mark. And how was Perry's game yesterday?
I thought Perry was fantastic yesterday. He really had to stand up. The week before he'd had 7 possessions and only 3 marks or thereabouts. Yesterday he played a much more traditional Ian Perry role. Now he has been doing that up until now, but you sort of sense that he was crowding the forward line with Hargraves, Alloway and Gill when he's there as well. Gill coming out yesterday really freed Perry up to play that more traditional role, moving around the forward 50 arc. He was prepared to drift up as far as defence and take a number of his grabs as well, but ultimately I thought he was the difference on the day.
Right, okay then. And Hargraves and Alloway, 5 goals each. Hargraves had a quiet year this year. Is he coming back to his best now?
I've really felt for Hargraves' opponent, young Mark Austin, getting his first league game yesterday. He lined up in the baptism of fire on Daniel Hargraves. Well, Mark Micken shelved that halfway through the second quarter when Hargraves had kicked his 5th goal on the poor kid, and that was pretty much the last we saw of Austin. So, yes, Hargraves was very good. He moved very well, but you tend to wonder just how much of it was exaggerated by playing on a young opponent. But he did play very well, and yes, running into form nicely. Alloway very impressive also.
Yeah. Have we seen a better game? Have we honestly seen a better game? I mean, it was a great spectacle, wasn't it, really?
A wonderful game played in full finals atmosphere, a really good crowd behind it, a frenetic pace throughout. Both sides played hard, tough football. Both prepared to play very accountable football, apart from on one player, which I'll come to in just a minute, but a really magnificent advertisement for SANFL football.
This is what we need to see in a final series. Some of these games, I think, because that will put the SANFL even further back on the map after the AFL's finished and all the rest of it. I mean, look, it was absolutely fantastic.
You touched earlier on Brett Backwell, 44 possessions. Next for Glenelg actually was Ben Mills with 25, so Backwell was 19 possessions ahead of any of his teammates yesterday. Just how good was he yesterday?
Funny you should say that.
Who was his opponent?
Brett, I'm wondering if he'd like to use this per chance, because I don't know what it is, Brett, but every time you go out onto the ground, you don't seem to have an opponent near you at any stage. I timed him yesterday, 7 minutes at one point. We did not have a person near him at any stage of the day. So I'm unaware as to what on earth it is the opposition coaches are prepared to let him run off. But he did not have a man at all yesterday, and he was so far and away the best player on the ground for both teams. It wasn't funny. I don't know why. Why do opposition coaches who are watching this, why do you not man up on Brett Backwell? He is running amok at the moment. He is probably the McGarry Medal favourite, and he is left to run by himself.
So for those 7 minutes, whereabouts was he?
He was standing in the middle of the Glenelg Oval, and he was just going back and forth. Now, he got 3 possessions in that time. Not one North Adelaide player went to him. Now, I found that astonishing, and that's perhaps Andrew was prepared to say, OK, let's concede Backwell 35, 40 touches, and let's assume he's not going to be so damaging. The problem is yesterday he was damaging, and he probably got 3 more McGarry Medal votes again.
And he was obviously going to be damaging because with Douglas missing and Gibbs had a quiet game, Backwell had to carry Glenelg, and sounds like he did it.
He did it fantastically. He really carried them off on his own back. Now, they did have some other good contributors. Ben Moore was very good also, and perhaps we didn't notice his impact as much there. As I said, Cranston before. Matt Doldig was exceptional as well. Now, he was on the verge perhaps of being dropped at one point, came out and responded with 7 goals, and that was a really good focus for them all day up forward.
Heath Uni, 28 disposals and 7 marks, and Doug Robinson rated his game quite well. How did you see Uni's game overall yesterday, Chris?
I thought Uni's game was very good. He could have possibly been the 4th best player on the ground, as it happens. And I know what you're leading to, because you know what the votes are going to be for this game. But no, and people who watch the show regularly know that I'm a huge rap for Heath Uni. I thought perhaps yesterday he didn't quite have the damage with his touches that he does in the past. Like a few of them were got in sort of fairly close-in situations. And I have to confess, I was a little surprised by 28 touches. But yes, he was very good yesterday. Such an important cog in the wheel down there. You put in him, Ivans, Howard, Laddams, all of these guys that are very good in the on-ball division. That's the beauty of North Adelaide. They can rotate so many on-ballers and know they're going to get quality for touches.
Of course, they got the icing on the cake with Nick Gill due to come back from his injury, and his injury is something that's going to keep him out for quite a while, or a bit of a mystery man, Nick Gill.
I would imagine that we'll see Nick Gill probably back next week, hopefully, for them. And you're right, he is so important to their forward structure also.
Robbie, you were saying in the first game, Westies had 11 goal kickers. I think Glenelg had 13 yesterday. So they're certainly sharing the ball around as well.
And it's important that normally Moore has been there, Rogers has been their goal kicker this year, and only had one goal yesterday, and Dalder stepped up with the 7, so they can share it around as well.
What also perhaps turned it was at three-quarter time. I went out to the huddles at both camps. Now I noticed that after three-quarter time, what Andrew had opted to do was play basically a phantom wall across half-back, so that when they had the possession in the centre of the ground, North Adelaide then started dropping back players behind the ball. It was almost like a 3 or 4 man wall there, and that did negate a lot of their forward movement there for the Bays, and it took Mark Micken a little time to perhaps notice that. By that time, North had kicked a couple of goals and got a bit of a break there, but it was interesting also to hear the break at three-quarter time, and this would have been picked up on the ABC, and thank you very much to the ABC for the usage of the footage for this game, that he thought the umpires were going to be a bit too scared to play decisions in that last quarter. I wouldn't say they were scared, but it was very interesting to notice one thing. In that last quarter, a number of umpires were doing this. They actually couldn't see at a number of times, and they missed a number of decisions through not simply being able to see because the sun was in an awkward spot.
Gee, I wouldn't have... Hasn't the sun always been there?
It has, but yesterday perhaps we just had a bit of a different angle for them, if nothing else. But
where's the old hat and the sunglasses?
Well, an umpire in the South Nord game last week had a peaked hat, and I almost wondered, all jokes aside, because the umpires actually did a very good job yesterday. There were 1 or 2 contentious decisions, but generally it was a very good job. And thanks to Colin Rouston for saying g'day. I forgot to come out and have more of a chat to you about that during the game. But yeah, and just a number of them at last quarter were just going like that, like they were trying to shield the sun out.
I've never noticed the sun before be a problem at Glenelg Oval. Maybe it's the ozone layer and all the problems with the environment causing that, Todd.
Who knows?
That's
Who
right,
knows, Robbie? Keep up the comments.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen the umpires have a problem.
No, it just happened so many times. 1 or 2 wouldn't notice, but there was a decision right in front of us that they missed quite clearly. The crowd was baying for blood. I just don't think you could see it, which is really odd. So I'm not sure if perhaps they could look at the peak caps more often than anything else. The votes in the C31 at the toss of a coin, you pull it Player of the Year award. Very hard to really narrow this down because you could have picked 10 and still missed them, and Heath Uni would have been one of those. One vote to Ian Perry there for North Adelaide. He probably was the difference up forward in the end there when he did bob up and he capitalised on that last error, but his game had been very good up until that point. 2 votes to Clint Alloway there from North Adelaide, also showing that he is going to be a huge part of the forward structure, and they rate him the equal of Nick Gill down there at North, so it's a big rap on him. Could not possibly go past Brett Backwell. 44 touches if you don't mind, and he just had so much of the ball in the C31 at the toss of a coin that you pull it Player of the Year award. Fellas, now it's time to put you both under the pump once again.
Here we go.
And you didn't know this one was coming,
No,
did you?
we don't know what's coming.
No, you wondered what this big bet was in the segment.
Time to get nervous.
Alternate questions. You've each got 30 seconds at the most to answer them.
Yep.
Starting with you, Robert. Who's more likely to win another game this year, Sturt or West?
West Adelaide.
On what basis?
Because they are providing a contest in their games every Saturday, whereas Sturt at the moment are getting flogged.
Todd, does Nord's Jamie Vlatko remind you more of Sideshow Bob or Guy Sebastian?
No, neither.
Neither?
Neither.
What about Huggy Bear?
Huggy Bear, more likely.
Rob, who has the more impressive boots, Alwyn Davey or Brett Backwell?
I like Alwyn Davies' boots. He looks scintillating at the moment with his boots.
So you don't think those glowing neon boots of Brett Backwell are worth it?
Backwell, absolutely.
No, Davies burnt my memory at the moment from watching him yesterday, so that's the first thing I thought of was Alwyn Davey.
Todd, who do you reckon's faster, Stephen Kenner or Tom Rishbeath?
Stephen Kenner.
You don't reckon that Rishbeath will give him a bit of a run for his money off the map?
I don't know. With a football, without a football?
With a football.
Kenner with a football.
Kenner looks fast because he takes the little steps.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah, his legs are coming up and down.
No, look, I think Tom's got a long way to go yet.
Who would use the ball better of the two?
Kenner.
Rob, if you had to pick any SANFL player to have a shot of goal to save your life, who would it be?
Damien Squire unfortunately retired during the week, which is a sad loss to SANFL football, and so I haven't got a replacement yet for Damien Squire as the most reliable.
Daniel Schell?
Daniel Schell is... I'll tell you what...
Close second?
I'll tell you who's improved this year is Brant Chambers is getting most of them for Sturt this year, but Damien Squire was the money man for me.
He was, and also our congratulations to Damien Squire. They're retiring at the end of the season. Fantastic career there. Damien, very best of luck, and we'll certainly have him back on C31 before the year's out. Todd, who's more likely to have an NFL career, David Mitchell or Adrian Bonadio?
Mitchell, I think.
Mitchell?
Yeah.
Because Bonadio can launch onto it when he feels like it.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen enough of him. But Mitchell obviously did a beautiful one yesterday as well.
Yeah, he did a 70-metre torp yesterday from one end of the ground. Chris Laddams, I think, took the mark, and then he put a 70-metre torp straight back. So it was quite interesting at one point there when the game was there to be won.
At least you can do that in SANFL games, though, and not get a spray from the coach. You can have a bit of flair, and you can boot your torps now and then when you want to.
Very true. Rob, is South's David Clark picked upon by the umpires or just misunderstood?
I think he's just misunderstood. There's a lot of players that are misunderstood in the SANFL competition these days, and I think he's just misunderstood.
But he's been reported 3 times this season. I mean, it's getting to the point that now that the tribunal's on a first-name basis and he's got his own car park.
It's just accidents. It's all accidents and misinterpretations.
Very competitive, isn't he?
He is very competitive.
Yeah,
G'day, Clark, if you're watching. Todd, does Ben Hudson have the most impressive knee guard seen in the SANFL this year?
No, look, this year, yes, probably. Yeah, absolutely.
Rob, will Joe Pedler take another 90 games to kick a goal?
No. I believe he wants to have a second goal by game 150 in his career. So I reckon within 60.
Okay.
Within 60. In fact, if the Eagles are in this year's grand final and they're 8 goals up with 8 minutes to go, I think you can see Joe Pedler run down, drop kick goal on the run.
Oh, he's not getting another $4,200 for doing it. Don't worry about that. I mean, Joe, if he wanted to kick another goal this year, mate, well done, but there's no more prize
Just
pulling off.
Just remember where you heard it first, Eagles fans.
Okay. Yeah. Todd, of these assistant coaches, which is the most likely to get a senior job next? Shane Collins, Greg Phillips or Stephen Rowe?
Stephen Rowe.
On why? What basis?
Oh no, I think finally he's putting his hand up. It may not for the Sturt job yet, but I think he's the most interested at the moment.
Okay, I'll throw in an answer, but I don't think Shane Collins will be the next one actually, and I think he probably deserves it. Both of you, Rob first, who will win this year's premiership and why?
I said on my last appearance 6 weeks ago that the Eagles are my team, and I've seen nothing since then to change my mind. I think the Eagles are this year's premiership side.
Todd?
It's time finally for the Eagles. They will win the grand final.
Yeah, you'd almost have to say, when they talk about premiership plops, theirs is probably at about 7 minutes to 12 at the moment, and the window of opportunity really is thinning. But yes, I have to agree they're probably in the box.
If Central's win it, they'd be a bit nervous. But any other competition, I think the Eagles are home.
I have to agree. I think it'll be the Eagles this year, but it's still a long way to go. When we come back after the break, we're going to have a look at the blockbuster at Unley Oval yesterday between Sturt and South.
See you.
And both of the Sturt fans on the panel cannot wait for this one. You're on Total SANFL this afternoon here on C31.
Don't let this happen to you. Protect your biggest investment before it's too late. Call Allstate Pest Control for safe and environmentally friendly pest control. With the revolutionary new Centricom baiting system. Allstate Pest Control. Safe for you, not for termites.
At the printing hub, our phones never stop ringing. Hello, the printing hub. How much for letterheads? Nah, we can do it less than that. Business cards, for what price? Nah, mate, using the wrong printer. Grocers, don't pay that much. Come and see us at the Printing Hub.
The Printing Hub, where you don't pay too much for your printing.
And we're hassle-free, big fella.
Are your kids struggling with maths? Does it feel like maths is taught differently these days? Orange Education can help. We will increase your child's confidence, provide tutor support until Year 12, increase their career choices and guarantee success. Call Orange Education today on 8363 1000 for an obligation-free maths assessment and presentation of the Mathemagic Computer Tutor Program. Orange Education, ensuring a brighter future.
The Media Resource Centre offers opportunities for you to develop new skills through our Career Makers program. Try hands-on workshops, seminars and masterclasses in a range of video and film-related topics. For a full list of what the MRC has to offer, call or visit the website.
And thanks for inviting us into your homes once again on this Sunday afternoon on Total SANFL. At the Unley Oval yesterday in front of 1,731 fans, South Adelaide on the rampage once again. They gave the Blues an absolute hiding. South Adelaide 29-12, 186 defeated Sturt, 11 goals, 13-79. Goal kickers for South, Ilgerson kicked 7, that's his best SANFL tally yet. Ben Warren kicked 4. For Sturt, a lone hand up forward once again, Brant Chambers with 3. Ball hogs there for South Adelaide. Reece Archer, 35 possessions. Alwyn Davey, 27 possessions. New blokes reckon Reece Archer shouldn't be in the state team, I tell you. For Sturt, Sheedy, 34 touches, and O'Keefe, 24 possessions. both of these gentlemen were at the game yesterday, and Rob was obviously wearing that marvellous duffel coat. Have a look at this, folks. I'll tell you what. Hang on, this is well worth having a look at.
No, it's the badge. It says the top one. It actually says "Follow with pride, Sturt, or champion side," and then underneath is the Rick Davies badge from the early '80s era. My all-time favourite Sturt player. Now, the reason I'm wearing the duffel coat, Chris, is you're back to the '70s show you had on a few weeks ago. It was a marvellous show with yourself, John Nankerville and Ben Hook, looking very good, but you needed a duffel coat.
One that says that Sturt were a champion side. There's actually laws against false advertising at the moment, Robert.
So I thought I'd just wear the duffel coat, and funny enough, that's a good look. I actually wore this to the 1976 Grand Final.
Now, do you want to show us what you found in the pocket?
And
while you
found in my pocket, viewers. We've got a $2 note and a $1 note, which is amazing what you find in your duffel coat after 30 years. So
that's worth at least your first pay packet.
That's right.
$3.01.
That's worth at least $3.01 now.
Oh dear. Let's have a look at the action from. Let's say we won't look at the action from this game just yet, but. Fellas, what on earth happened out there yesterday for Brody?
Well, I'd like to say, Chris, you've got me to cover 3 games for C31 this year, and round 7, Eagles beat Sturt by 71 points. Round 13, South beat Sturt by 90, and yesterday South beat Sturt by 107. So the 3 games I've covered for C31 have been pretty bad for Sturt supporters side. Like Sturt in the warm-up yesterday, they were impressive. The
warm-up?
In the warm-up.
What did they do in the warm-up?
They looked very good. They passed the ball to each other. The goal kicking, they reckon they got about 80% of their goals in during the practice compared to about 30% the week before. The opening goal of the match by Brant Chambers. Button was very damaging up forward at the start of the game. Sturt looked really switched on for about the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes later South was 7 goals up, and it just went downhill from there as far as Sturt were concerned. Very funny you should say. This Brodie Atkinson claimed during the week that the players had shown a spring in their step at training. Fellas, I reckon that spring must have been a slinky, just about. No, the players really wanted to do well yesterday. The body language, it was completely different in the warm-up in the first 5 minutes of the game. Yes.
So what happened after that?
Players like Sheedy, Weatherall, Curtis, they were throwing themselves into everything at the start of the game. The players really wanted to do well yesterday. It was they were trying their hardest.
13 goals, 4 in 1 quarter of football, and Sturt only kicked 11 for the game. 13-4 to 1 goal, 1 in the third quarter.
Well, yes, the third quarter was a bad quarter. That's when the discipline that completely fell apart for Sturt.
The season cannot finish early enough, can it, for Sturt? They really need to just go away and come back next year, and hopefully some money will appear in the books, and there's some new players at Sturt as far as I'm concerned.
They do have a couple of bright spots, and we'll show you some of the footage now from this game. We'll see a magnificent mark taken there by Luke Button. But fellas, you're right. I mean, you would expect that with the change of coach, and again, best of luck to Brenton Phillips after he decided to pull the pin during the week, you would ordinarily expect that would have produced a more revived effort. At times yesterday, Sturt were downright shocking.
Oh, the third quarter was the disappointing one. That's when the Sturt defenders especially seemed to lose a lot of discipline and self-control, and they gave away at least half a dozen 25-metre penalties that gave South a few easy goals. That was the mark that we're talking about with young Button, who... he's a very good set of hands. He's shooting for goal at the moment. It's a bit wonky. A couple of helicopter kicks during the first quarter yesterday that could have given Sturt a couple of confidence-boosting goals at the start of the game. In fact, in the quarter-time huddle, Brodie actually took Luke Button aside and gave him a quick pointer in the huddle on how to kick a drop punt, I think.
Was it after this kick?
Wouldn't you have thought that would have happened in the training during the week, maybe?
But for some reason, Button, his couple of shots for goal in the first quarter, the kicks all did stray a bit to the right, as you see with this one here. And this is when Sturt were actually right in the contest and looking good. It was interesting watching Sturt at quarter-time in the huddle, in that Brodie Atkinson, he had the team split up into the 3 groups, your forwards, your defenders, your midfielders, all with the assistant coaches, given the individual talk before Brodie then called him in for the big chat. At 3/4 time, Brodie got to deliver his first spray as a league coach. The players just all stood in one group, and Brodie just let rip and let them have quite a few minutes, and it was understandable too.
I mean, half the side for Sturt is got not much experience. And that really does paint a picture, doesn't it?
There's not much left from the 2002 Premiership side now. It's amazing how it's gone apart in just four years, but there's not much experience left. A lot of good, skillful young kids coming through, but they just haven't got the upper body strength at the moment to apply a decent tackle or to hold on to the ball.
We've talked about a lot of the negatives for Sturt, but South, can they sneak into the 5? The likes of Davey again showed some really good signs. Are they still a sniff?
Oh yeah, South are a good side. They got a tough draw to come home with. They come home with I think they've got Centrals and Glenelg and South and North. That's 14 in 3 games.
They can't play themselves either.
No, that's right. No, I have a feeling South Adelaide, the last game of the year for South,
it's Glenelg, I think.
Yeah, they're playing Glenelg the last game of the year, which for South will be a spot in the 5 for them. South yesterday looked very good. Alan Davey was extremely quick, and one of those players. You talked about Backwell not seeming to have a man on him yesterday down at the Bay. Davey, for a lot of the game yesterday, seemed to be running around unchecked as well.
He's probably the most improved player in the SANFL just about this year. I mean, he's always been known as being very flashy and very wide and not very accountable. We had Robert Pullman on the show last week and he mentioned this too. He's really added another step to his game this year with that defensive side. He's prepared to play defensive, but like you said yesterday, give him 5 metres, he'll give you 500.
That's right. Yeah.
And having 27 possessions yesterday is a good plus for him, because I think he's been hovering around the teens a lot, and maybe this is a step to hopefully bring his game to another level.
Certainly is. The other thing I liked about SAF Adelaide was they're a very happy bunch at the moment. You know,
a couple of 100-point wins against Sturt would help.
That's right, yes. But SAF Adelaide teams in the past, I've been one of their biggest critics in the past, SAF Adelaide have a habit of fading away as the season goes on. But this year, there's very good team spirit out there. Cupido, only minor role yesterday. Last time kicked 11 goals against Sturt, but yesterday I don't think he came onto the ground until just for half time and only kicked just the 1 goal and was a very quiet day and was happy just to sit back and watch while Davey and his teammates cut Sturt up.
You've nearly redeemed yourself the last time you were on the show talking about South Adelaide with that little bit.
Have I?
Just about, yes. I think the lawsuits might be staved off for another week because, yes,
South versus Richmond used to say, didn't you? They used to die
couldn't pick them apart.
Yeah,
couldn't tell them. Yeah. Yes.
How did you see Ben Warren's game yesterday? Very dominant up forward. They're taking the 11 marks in the 16 possessions.
Yeah, Warren is the sort of player though that I've yet to. Yeah, he looks good. But
he looks good.
He looks good.
Blonde hair.
That's right. Yeah, he
good
looks
body.
good.
What? I don't know.
He looks good.
What do you make you turn, Rob? Would he?
Yeah. No, he looks good. He looks good.
Right.
But I'm not. I'm still not convinced.
Explaining that for our viewers.
But I'm still not convinced about Warren quality opposition against, you know, in a good game, finals match. I still think Warren might not be the player that will come through in a grand final for South.
I'm glad you clarified that because I thought we were going into queer eye for a minute.
No, he does look good.
He does actually. All jokes aside, he does. He's the quintessential full forward, isn't he? He just leads hard and straight down the ground and takes that big pair of hands.
Very good lead, but I think if South Adelaide make the grand final, I think someone like Cupido is going to be a match winner because he has the ability to turn a game on its head, as I've seen a couple of times this year.
They've got to make the final.
They've got to make the grand final first.
They're sitting in 6th, Robbie. All right, so they've got to make the finals first before
good ruck strength. Good ruck strength. Parry King were far too good for DeLuca and Feast yesterday.
Yeah, well, DeLuca couldn't really hold his feet, could he?
DeLuca is, I had a chat with a couple of past Sturt players after the game, and they're just wondering what is DeLuca being taught down at Alberton during the week because DeLuca seems to it's mistiming his leaps and ruck work at the moment. You know, he'll go up way too early, or he'll leave his leap till too late, or when he does get a tap, it normally goes straight to the opposition. So DeLuca, there's a bit of work needed there, I think.
Because unfortunately, if Feasty gives Sturt some competitiveness in the square, he has a little bit of a rest.
That's right.
All of a sudden the floodgates open up, unfortunately.
But he is very good below the knees though, DeLuca. A lot the way he's prepared to work on the ground for his possessions and that sort of thing.
A couple of possessions really shows that from yesterday. He didn't do very well.
Future guest on the show, Todd. So in summary, is Brodie going to be the right man for the job down there, or do they need that experienced coach development for a couple of years?
You can't make the decision based on one game. No, Brodie, you've got to give him the 4 games to finish off the season.
Absolutely, and, look, and there's not a lot of money going around at Sturt either, so they can't afford someone high profile. So a Brodie or a Collins, you were sort of hinting at before, an untried person is going to get a real crack at Sturt next year, no doubt.
I'd like to see Collins given a go personally because I know he's done some exceptionally good work at Hills Junior football, and I know he has a very good rapport with young kids. Obviously he's taking the youngest list in the league at the moment. I think he'd be a perfect fit down there, but yes, you're right, it's going to come down to finances. In an ideal world, you'd like to see an experienced coach come down there and guide them for a couple of years.
Full-time coach. It's time for Sturt. They need a full-time coach. This part-time stuff that Phillips has had over the last few years is probably not where we need to go as a club.
What did you think about the idea raised during the week of Philip Carman coming back?
No, he burned his bridges when he left, I think. So we can't go backwards.
Burnt his bridges.
Yeah. No, look, he was stale. He'd been there a long time, 6 years. I think, with some of the players, I don't know. Some of them are still hanging around. There's not many left, but from that era. But I think it's just time. We're looking at a new direction. We've got half our team now in under 20, under 30 games. You need someone to teach the kids. Now we've got to find that person.
I think Sturt Football Club have been very lucky. The last 2 gentlemen they've had as their coaches have both been outstanding men. Phil Carman was outstanding from 1995 through to 2001 because he got a group of players who no one else wanted in the mid-90s and was able to bring them all together at the time, and made them a finals team and went with an ace of winning the 1998 grand final. Brent Phillips then came in and was able to just get that extra 10% out of him to make him premiership side. And Phillips was an outstanding coach, and I have nothing but the highest regard for Brent Phillips, and I wish him well. It's unfortunate that the season this way panned out as it did, but you could tell very early on in the season that Sturt were always going to be struggling this year, just due to the loss of players.
It's all about timing. Carmen, it was the right time for Carmen at Sturt. Phillips came over, improved them a little bit more. Now Sturt are going to a different level, a different generation now. We've got a lot of young kids, and Phillips wasn't the man for that. Whether Brodie is, we'll have to wait and see.
It's definitely a whole new era starting up. But it depends who Sturt, Hurley will probably go in the draft. Paley, Mike Barton, there's fringe players that might go as well. But Sturt need a lot of, they need strength in a hurry. There's just no strength around the ground at the moment. No. Players like Curtis, who try to use strength, don't quite have the height or the speed to go with it. Better players for Sturt are the older guys who are obviously starting to slow down a bit. Sheedy and Chambers, they're the two stars remaining in the side at the moment.
Can we have your votes for the C31 at the toss of a coin? You pull it, $1,000 Player of the Year, please, Robert.
Okay, starting 3 points to Owen Dave, clearly best on ground yesterday. 16 kicks, 11 handballs, 3 goals. Too much pace for the entire Sturt side. Basically, he was burnt everybody off yesterday. He was far too quick for Sturt. 2 points to Stephen Kenner. Every time I see South LA play, Stephen Kenner just jumps out at me.
He runs really quick, doesn't he?
He does. His little legs pump up and down.
The little road runner, isn't he?
That's right, yeah. He's not running on the spot. He's actually moving away. 17 kicks, 8 handballs, 3 goals. I've yet to see him play a bad game. And 1 point, Reece Archard.
He was unlucky.
That's right, yeah.
Shouldn't he got the 3?
No, he only got the 1. He's another quick move around the ground. He was everywhere, always in the action. 15 kicks, 20 handballs and 1 goal. And I actually have yet to give a Sturt player a vote in this competition as well this year, which is also very sad.
Well, funnily enough,
only won 3 games.
The leading Sturt player only has 6 votes in the award anyway at the moment, which is a perfect.
Chambers?
It is Brian Chambers, funnily enough. You've been watching your total SANFL, haven't you?
Congratulations once again to Brian Chambers. 4 goals again yesterday in the side that was well beaten. This guy does not give up, and I admire his attitude. He's been brilliant this year for Sturt. He's won the respect of all Sturt fans.
Imagine how they'd be if he wasn't there at the end of the year. Let's have a look at the leaderboard for the C31. That's toss for a coin. You pull it, Player of the Year award. Currently leading now on 20 votes is Brett Backwell, and he is now, of course, the McGarry Medal favourite also. On 16 votes, Jeremy Clayton and Justin McConnell from Glenelg. McConnell didn't poll yesterday. 15 votes, Tim Inkster from Woodville West Torrens. He has a chance to add to his tally today. And on 14 votes is James Gallagher from Nord in the award there. Let's have a look at the club corner and see what your club is up to this week. At the Eagles, sign on for your 2007 membership now, and you'll receive the remainder of 2006 free, including access to the members area during the finals. That's a great incentive there, so make sure you renew your membership or join up as a member at Woodville West Torrens. In fact, that's the same for all SANFL fans. Don't just be a supporter of your club, be a financial member of the club. The money goes back into the club, and we know that the SANFL clubs all need your financial support to make sure that they can remain financially viable each and every year.
And this year would be the best year to join up as an Eagles member, because you could get a premiership year.
Jump on the bandwagon, according to Rob Douglas. Yes. The Woodville Heritage jumpers, the signed 1964 replica Woodville jumpers, are still for sale on eBay. There's not much time left to go on that. www.ebay.com.au. The Bob Hank Tribute Night is going to be massive. Friday, September the 1st at the Parks Convention Centre at Amy Stadium. $80 per person, 3-course meal, entertainment, beer, wine and soft drinks at 7 p.m. A night not to be missed. You can book this with Georgie on 8347 2444. And looking at the Nord Football Club, the next function in the Nord Business Series will be held on Thursday, September the 7th in the Rubicon Room at the Adelaide Convention Centre, starting at 6:30 p.m. After work drinks held on the eve of the AFL Finals. Tickets are $45, include finger food and a guest speaker. It won't be me, unfortunately. Full bar facilities and free car parking available. Bookings are essential. 8362 6278. Robert.
Sturt Football Club, they're having their disco ball. It's the dust off your flares and your duffel coats and come along to the Sturt major fundraiser.
Play that funky music, white boy.
And you can groove to the disco beat. Hopefully they'll play The Hustle by Van McCoy. That's a great song, 1975.
Keep to the script.
Hosted by Mark Soderson. It's going to be a top night. Entertained by DJ Disco Mama. And it's going to be a great array of auction items available on the night, but not this duffel coat. This stays with me, the original owner. But follow with pride their champion side. Saturday the 2nd September 2006, 7:30 p.m. for an 8 p.m. start at the Adelaide Cup Room at the Alan Scott Park Racecourse, Morford Road, Morphevale. $88 a head, and includes a 3-course meal, beer, wine, soft drinks and some songs by Slade and Status Quo, hopefully. Bookings are essential. Telephone the Sturt Football Club on 8271 4611 for the disco ball. Dress, they recommend here your 1970s disco or neat casual or your duffel coat. Todd.
Is that all? The duffel coat?
Yeah, love the
Oh, gee.
So just a duffel coat with nothing else.
A couple of badges, maybe.
That'll be a real treat for the fans.
Throw one of those little things on the
if you want.
as well. Okay, Todd.
All right, moving to Bloods news, Robbie. Check out the new website, www.westies.com.au. For the brand new website for them. Westonian Ball, Saturday, August the 26th, to be held at the Hyatt Regency Ballroom. $125 per person, includes pre-dinner drinks, 2-course meal, beer, wine and champagne and soft drinks. 15-piece big band starring Johnny Cole and Marlene Richards. Extravaganza floor show, dancing with the football stars.
And you get to dance with Jeremy Jakes.
Maybe. Bookings through Nick or Gillian. Nick can be contacted on 0433 192 965 or Gillian on 8298 8777. The Balaclava Cup also on Wednesday, August the 30th. I know Chris will be there. Support the Westonians and join them in at the marquee at the Balaclava Cup for $110 per person, including transport, entry, food, beer and wine. Meet at the West Adelaide Footy Club car park, and bookings with John Flanagan on 0419 855 700.
Yeah, it should be a huge day, the Balaclava Cup. This year it's August the 0.05 Don't Drink and Drive Balaclava Cup. Very responsible there because it is a huge day. And tell you what, fellas, if you can get your feet on a bus or anything like that to go up there, it is a massive day, really. It probably is bigger than the Adelaide Cup now, the Balaclava Cup.
How many winners yesterday did you pick in the TAB competition, Chris?
What's that got to do with the Balaclava Cup?
It's horse racing.
Welcome to completely unrelated segues. Okay. Most people know the TAB punters competition out there. Yes, I foolishly put an entry in, and yes, somebody on this panel got one and somebody got none, and guess who got the one? 3 points up for you, Rob, no doubt about that. I'll tell you what, bragging rights for the rest of the year on this one.
That's the only thing he beats anyone at, so it's all right.
Yeah, pretty much yesterday. Well, let's have a look after the break at the big game today at the Woodville Oval, Eagles versus Nord. You're on Total SANFL this afternoon with myself, Chris Kendall, Rob Douglas and Todd Wellington.
At the printing hub, our phones never stop ringing. Hello, the printing hub. How much for letterheads? Nah, we could do it less than that. Business cards, for what price? Nah, mate, using the wrong printer. Grocers, don't pay that much. Come and see us at the Printing Hub.
The Printing Hub, where you don't pay too much for your printing.
And we're hassle-free, big fella.
You want it, you pull it. You name it. With over 3,000 cars, you'll find it, you pull it, and you pay less at Lonsdale and Elizabeth. You better believe it. You want a door, you pull it and pay $49.50. You want mags, you pull it and pay $27.50 each. You take your own tools, you pull it, you carry it out, you save. You beauty. You pull it self-serve auto. You'll find them 7 days at Myer Road Lonsdale and Wammer Road Elizabeth. You pull it, you save, you betcha.
Just a smidge over 60. Come on.
Take a look at the back. Look how many deliveries I've got to do before 5 o'clock.
Look, it's not very busy. There's hardly any cars on the road.
I have to pick my little brother up, and I promised him that I wouldn't be late.
Speeding. What's your excuse?
A smile on a child's face goes a long way.
Volunteers with Interchange care for children with disabilities.
To me, it always has been about giving something back and helping somebody.
I always look forward to the weekend I have her. She's more of a mate than a child now.
They actually genuinely believe that Kimberly and Nathan are their friends, not just somebody that comes to visit.
If you'd like to share your home and family, phone Interchange.
I think it's something that a lot more people should do.
Did you know that over 17% of South Australians have difficulty reading printed material? That's around 1 in 6 South Australians who find it hard or impossible to read daily newspapers, or a weekly magazine, or a best-selling novel. If you or someone you know has trouble reading printed material, there's a community radio station that's here to help. 1197 AM RPH Adelaide, South Australia's quality radio reading and information service.
And we're in the home stretch now of Total SANFL. Today down at the Woodville Oval, it's almost a pseudo-elimination final for the Nord Football Club when they meet the Eagles. Let's have a look at the Nord team from the back line. Duggan, Zorzi, Nitschke, halfbacks. Bailey, Jackman, Pfeiffer, centre line. Gallagher, Brett, James, Gavin Hughes. Half forwards, Bronoli, Vlatko, Bartamucci. Forwards, Bound, Koshel, Colpert. First ruck, Meeson, Campbell and Borlace. Interchange, Hill, Carslake and Crouch. Timmy Nicholas missing out again there, fellas. Interesting rumours coming out of the club there that he's a bit out of favour at the club at the moment. Very unfortunate for Tim Nicholas. Can we have the Eagles team, please, Todd?
Okay, a few changes overnight, Chris. Forward line for the Eagles, Knight, Passador, Inkster. Half forward, Cooper, Grokey, Westbrook. Centres, Treby, Powell, Jarrod. Half back, Nelson, McClay and Curtis. Nelson, coach of Sturt, now playing for the Eagles. Needs another game, obviously, to improve. Backs, Fiarchi, Pedler, Salter. Rucks, Lindsay, Colville and Sikalella. And obviously, some more changes here. Davies, Rishbyth, Kay and Miles. So Sturt players are doubling up on the weekend.
They've been very active in the trading markets overnight. Obviously,
so
they're the
Sturt
Eagles.
Don't have a team next week.
I would hazard a guess the half-back line for the Eagles will actually be Shattock, Jacobs and Potter, if my maths is correct.
Mackenzie, I reckon.
Mackenzie possibly there, so you don't think Mackenzie would line up on the bench with Regolo and Simons?
No, I think Mackenzie's got to start. Come on, Mackenzie at the half-back.
I would hope so there, but let's getting off the inaccuracies of that published team in this morning's paper. Fellas, massive game here for Nord. Are they up to it?
I think they certainly are. They are good enough to beat the Eagles because after this game, Nord finish off the season with West Adelaide, Sturt and then a bye. So Nord
nothing like about taking one game at a time, do you think? If they look about the next 2 weeks after that, they're gone. They have to win this game. They've got to win this game
they've got to win
first,
this game.
And they won't.
If they win this game and then win the following two, well, then they could scrape in a fifth spot. Nord, they're going to hit the Eagles everything today.
Yeah, they will, but come on. I think there's something special down the Eagles this year, and I think it's time. And I don't think the Eagles dropped one a couple of weeks ago to South by a big margin. I think 11-12 goal down at South. They're not going to drop their form lead into finals. I think they will win easy. And look, the likes of Treby, Jarrod, Colville, Sikalella, Westbrook, they've got players to burn.
Plus all those guys I got from Sturt overnight.
Absolutely. They've got a squad of 50 now. But no, look, I think too much to play for, and the form of Inkster is something special as well.
Yeah. He'd have to be also firming in for the Magarey medal, but you're right. They've got so many good options up there. Passador is an interesting one because I suspect Zorzi can keep him to 2 goals or less. I mean, we don't rate Zorzi, a lot of people outside Nord don't rate Zorzi very highly. Well, he's been fantastic at fullback playing outside his weight division.
So why didn't they name Chambers at full forward as well with half the other players?
Actually, Chris, just getting back to Nord. Now, Nord last week, they were in a winning position against South Adelaide, and a lot of Nord supporters at the game did get themselves quite excited during the second and third quarters. What went wrong for Nord last week?
They looked to almost run out of legs more than anything else. They were very contented with being 29 points up, and from that moment they stopped noticeably. And this is part of the problem with Nord. They did it against Glenelg a couple of weeks back as well. They did it against North Adelaide and almost let North Adelaide back in the game. These last quarters are a real problem for them. And as we know, there was that interesting stat before when they were leading at half time a lot of the time during the year. This is going to be a real point that Trevor Hill's going to hammer home. They have to finish off with a strong last quarter. Does that mean they're going to come out of the box very slowly with the first quarter?
Also, bearing in mind that I think when the teams met Adelaide over early in the season, Nord did have a 40-point lead that day, which they then threw away and lost to the Eagles then. So Nord, yes, they've got to play 4 quarters right to the last minute, Chris.
Particularly if the Bernie Vince show happened to crank back into gear once again.
Yes.
I mean, the positive for Nord is they've had some really good wins against some quality opposition in the last month. So that's got to give them some great confidence leading into this game. I just think the Eagles are that just step above everyone else.
Let's take your tip on this game then, Tom. Who will win?
I think the Eagles will win comfortably. I think 7-8 goal to be truthful. I just think they've got too many options across the whole ground. Their half back line, their centre and their half forward. There's going to be too much ball. So Passador is going to. I think Passador will end up with a few goals today.
Dufflecoat man, who's going to win this one?
Back in the business suit now, but I think Eagles by 53 points.
53 points, okay, out there. I'm tempted to pick Nord because
why would you be tempted to pick Nord?
Because when everything's on the line, Nord do tend to respond this season. However, I think the Eagles probably will have a bit too much class for them. But as I said in Sportsbet this week, if there was going to be an upset this round, this would be the game in which you'd almost see it.
But then, of course, you did tip Glenelg in Sportsbet this week as well. So
I was only 5 points away.
You're reasoning. Come on, reasoning for that. Why do you think this is the upset?
Because I think their on-ball division can match up with the Eagles. Skipworth out is a big blow for them. That's 40 possessions straight out of their
What about the ruck then?
I think
Lindsay versus Meeson is key.
Lindsay got 55 hitouts the last time these two teams met. I can't see Meeson letting that happen again this second time. It is going to be a good opportunity now for Meeson to make a real statement. They do need to try and sort things out then there with Tim Nicholas. I think Zorzi can hold Passador, but this then leaves a big job on the shoulders of Coachell and Flat Coast, so I think the Eagles probably will just have enough in hand. 8 points.
8 points.
But that wraps us up just about for another week here on Total SANFL. Rob, thanks very much for bringing your lovely duffel coat and the rest of yourself in this week.
It was a pleasure to find the duffel coat and wear it again, and also find the $3 in the pocket. That always comes in handy.
You're going to go and slip that on the Eagles today?
I'll save it for the Balaclava Cup when I'm out there with Jeremy Jakes.
Todd, thanks for coming in once again.
Appreciate it. A beautiful Sunday afternoon as well coming up. So look, hopefully everyone get down to the Eagles and the Nord game.
Certainly will be a huge game down there. That wraps us up for another week here on Total SANFL. Don't forget to join us next week for round 21. We're getting right towards the business end of the season now. Come up and have a chat if you see me down at a game there. I know a couple of people yesterday were sort of a bit reluctant to come up and have a yarn. I'm always happy to have a chat or a beer or anything like that.
Jeez, social butterfly.
Well, look, you like to be friendly to people. And I had a couple of people whispering, oh, there's Chris Kendall from C31. Like, for goodness sake, come up and say hello. Like, I'm not going to bite you or anything like that.
Have you made your rubber stamp your autograph yet? Or is that still in production?
I don't think there's any need to somehow. I mean, we could sell autograph merchandise here, like $15 autograph and $25 unautographed, just quietly. But that wraps us up now for another week on Total SANFL. I'm Chris Kendall. We'll see you at the footy next week.